Hello and welcome to the Fit Like a Girl podcast. My name is Jackie Lindal. I am a mom of two, an avid coffee drinker, and a certified personal trainer. I have been in the fitness industry for nearly 10 years, and I help women get fit, strong, and lose weight without losing their damn minds. If you're looking for help on achieving your health, weight loss, and fitness goals without all the fitness industry confusion and BS, you have come to the right place. Hello and welcome back to the Fit Like a Girl podcast. My name is Jackie. In today's episode, I am going to talk about 9 things to remember that will guarantee you success in your weight loss journey. But first, we need to talk life update things. I don't know if people actually like this segment, we'll call it a segment of my podcast. If you do, message me on Instagram and let me know. If you don't follow me on Instagram, be sure to go to the show notes. My Instagram is tagged in there. And let me know, do you like the life update and me rambling about random things? Or is it annoying? Because I've listened to podcasts where I really like it, but I've also listened to podcasts where the random ramblings take up 45 minutes of an hour-long podcast, and then the actual nitty-gritty of the podcast is only 15 minutes. I've really been liking Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey. I really like her podcast. It's a really good amount of her having random ramblings and talking and answering people's questions, and you get to know more about her and her life. And then it's also a good amount of her having conversations with people. And for her, it's about, I want to say the first 15 to 20 minutes of her podcast. She always talks about how her podcast is only 45 minutes long, but the first 15 to 20 minutes is her just talking, random ramblings. Of course, there's a couple ads in there, which get your bank, girl. And then she gets into her interview or the person that she's speaking with that day. So anyways, yeah, let me know that. But regardless, I'm going to go forth with my life updates. I have actually just been really writing down topics that I have been wanting to talk about lately and some things that are just on my mind. And as they're on my mind, I will write them down so that I remember to actually talk about them on the podcast. A couple of things I want to talk about. Recently, I went to my yearly doctor's appointment and I have mixed feelings about it. So I went to my yearly checkup appointment. Now, I make sure that I go to the doctor at least once a year for a few different reasons. Number one, I'm terrified of losing my family doctor. So I always make sure I go and see him at least once a year. There is an extreme doctor shortage in Alberta where I live. I mean, really just across fucking Canada, but especially in Alberta. There is a doctor shortage, and I am scared of losing my family doctor. I actually like my family doctor. He's only 15 minutes from where I am. He's a nice man. I really like him. So I'm going to make sure that I stay on his patient list so I go in for a yearly checkup. That's number one. Number two, I am a big advocate of you should see your medical team at least once a year. You should go to the dentist at least once a year. You should get your eyes checked, at least for me, at least once a year. My husband hasn't had an eye exam in 20 years, but that's besides the point. He has perfect vision. I do not. So I'm a big advocate of go see your medical providers and things like that at least once a year, especially as you're getting older. I'm heading into my mid-30s. I'm 33, will be 34 now. So getting into the mid-30s-ish. And it's important to me to stay on top of my health. And if there is any form of health issues coming up in my life, I want to get on top of it now. I don't want to let it sit for 15, 20 years until it's a really big fucking problem. So those are my couple of reasons. Also, if I have any prescriptions that need to be refilled, obviously, generally you get that done once a year. I don't have any prescriptions that need to be refilled at the moment. Any prescriptions that I do have are just through my dermatologist and she just refilled them for me. But I feel like it's important to go see your family doctor at least once a year. I digress. You can tell, though, going into my family doctor, they're not used to seeing people come in just for really no particular reason. I don't really have any concerns. I don't really have any reasons to go in. I feel relatively healthy. I feel fine. So you can tell that they're kind of why the fuck are you here? My family doctor, though, is always great about it. However, though, this time I saw a resident and not my actual family doctor. And normally when I see my family doctor, he's like, yes, you're here for your yearly exam. How you doing? How's things? And, we have a chat and I don't need any, PAPs or anything like that this year. So really, I didn't really have much to talk about other than here's my new prescriptions that I'm on. And I would also like to get some blood work done. So I saw a resident, which is fine because I didn't really have any big concerns. So You could tell though that this resident was kind of like confused as to why I was there. He's like, he was really kind of like, why are you here? And I'm like, well, I'm here for a yearly checkup, check my blood pressure, listen to my heart. I would like to get some blood work done. And he was like, do you have any concerns? Why do you need blood work done? And I was like, I just feel like this is important. Shouldn't you be happy that people are coming in and trying to be on top of their health? Like, shouldn't that be a good thing? Like, why are you kind of looking at me like, why the fuck are you here? I understand that oftentimes, probably family doctors are used to seeing people when it's like, holy shit, something's wrong. I'm not, nothing is wrong here, but I would like to just like, I don't know, let you know that I still exist. And also, yes, I would like some blood work done. I haven't had blood work done in a couple of years. I'd like to, check up on my kidneys, check up on my liver, check up on my thyroid. I have a history of hypothyroidism in my family, so it's good. Like, I feel like it's important for me to just check my thyroid, make sure it's good. There's a history of diabetes in my family, check that. There's a history of high blood pressure and cholesterol and heart disease in my family. Check up on all the things, please, and thank you. It's important to me that I stay on top of these things. Yes, I am healthy. Yes, I'm only in my early-ish to mid-30s. But it's important for me to go in and get these things checked out. And it just, you could tell that this resident was kind of like, why the fuck are you here? Like, this is just a waste of my time. And I was like, I don't really appreciate this right now. Maybe I am making assumptions. It's highly possible that I am making assumptions about absolutely nothing. And this doctor was like happy to see me, but he just didn't give those vibes. And I don't know. I am a big advocate of like, I always tell all my clients, like, go see your doctor. If you have any concerns, you're not sure about something, go see your doctor. Get some blood work done. Best case scenario, your blood work is normal. Yay, great. And I knew that my blood work would be normal, but I also feel like one day it might not be. And it's good to know that all of these other times my blood work was normal until something changed. And when did it change? Because I have family members who never went to the doctor. Never went to the doctor. And then when they finally go, it's like, wow, you have high blood pressure, you have high cholesterol, you're depressed, you have anxiety. Like, this laundry list of fucking problems. Well, when did this start? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I haven't been to the fucking doctor in 20 years. I haven't had blood work done in 20 years. I don't know when it started. Did it start last year? Did it start 10 years ago? Like, this is how people's health gets out of control. And then you have this laundry list of fucking problems and all of these things that people need to address. So anyways, it was just kind of a strange appointment. It was literally like 5 minutes long, and you could tell he was just like, why the fuck are you here? Why do you want blood work done? And he just kind of begrudgingly gave me my requisition and sent me on my way. So I feel like next time I go, I'm going to request to actually like see my family doctor and not a resident. Just because I like my family doctor. He's a nice guy. And he'll like understand why I'm there. He knows what I do for a living. He knows that my health is super important to me and I'm a big advocate for like taking care of your health and all these things. He knows that about me. So when I come in for my yearly checkup, he understands why I'm there. And he'll ask me like, do you have any concerns? He checks my blood pressure. He'll check like, those kinds of things. And he takes it seriously. And he's not just like dismissive and like, well, you're healthy, so just on your way. Like, you should be happy that I'm here every year. Anyways. That was something that irked me recently. The other thing that has been big in the news lately is the TikTok ban. So I am on TikTok, but I'm not really on TikTok. Like, my bread and butter for social media is my Instagram. And I have joined TikTok and managed to grow like a half decent following. I would say half decent following on TikTok, but I don't really post much there because I find that a lot of my like fitness content just goes flat on TikTok, which is fine. It has a lot to do with like, I don't post consistently about fitness on TikTok. I post a lot about my horses and that kind of stuff on TikTok. So I more so use it as just like, this is my fun social media and not so much as like, this is related to my work social media. But anyways, this whole like TikTok ban situation. So I am located in Canada. The ban didn't affect me, but it did affect like a lot of creators and people I know and other trainers that I'm friends with and my peers in the industry who use TikTok as their like main social media platform. And it was just kind of like, the whole situation to me is insanity. And I am not a conspiracy theory person, but I have some fucking conspiracy theories about this. The whole situation where all of a sudden, I posted about this on Threads. It's interesting to me that the two sides of the US government who can never seem to get along about anything, can never agree about fucking anything, were able to come together to ban an app for quote unquote security reasons. Okay? Quote unquote security reasons. That they were able to come together for that. However, there's still kids getting shot up in schools every single year. There are people who are dying and cannot get the healthcare that they need because they can't afford it. There are women who do not have maternity leave and are literally going back to work with their vaginas still fucking stitched up after having a baby because they don't have and can't afford mat leave. Like, the US can't agree on any of those things, but yet they can come together to ban an app where people learn about makeup routines, recipes, and fucking TikTok dances. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Are there national security things that are going on? I don't fucking know. Do I look like a politician here? But I just find it kind of interesting. And then not only that, the whole like, they banned it. The Supreme Court upheld the banned law and all that. It literally went dark for 12 hours and then all of a sudden it's back. And there's a certain Cheeto dusted man who's going to be held a hero because of all this, who is also the instigator in the first place for banning said app. I'm just saying it's sus, as the children would say. It's fucking sus. What will become of this? I have no fucking idea. Will the ban come to Canada? I don't know, maybe. I guess this is a great way for me to learn ahead of time to diversify myself when it comes to social media and not throw all my eggs in one basket, even though most of my eggs are in one basket on Instagram. So with that being said, if you would like to join my email list, you should probably head over to my website and join my email list. So just in case Instagram or fucking TikTok goes dark in Canada, I can still send out content and help you in a way that is not on social media. So anyways, that's been on my mind a lot lately, seeing how it all went down. And there was like a lot of creators who, it was so crazy how it was like, there was so much back and forth, whether TikTok was going to go, it was going to be saved, it was going to go, it was going to be saved, it was going to be postponed for 90 days, it was going to be not enforced. And then TikTok itself was just, you could tell they were just like, fuck this, we're just going to go dark on the 18th. Like it was like the 18th at 8:30 p.m. They just went dark. And there was like people on TikTok going live, and then it just literally like shut down. Like it was just gone, which was crazy to me. But there are people who have, they've really built themselves a business and a following. And I know that there's a lot of people being like, oh, all these influencers are going to have to go and get a real job. Listen, dude, just because you don't understand that social media can be a real job doesn't mean that you should shit all over how people make a living. It was also amazing for small businesses, people being able to build businesses, people who are disabled and maybe can't work a job outside of the home were able to make some form of an income on TikTok. Stay-at-home moms being able to make an income off of TikTok. Like it, I feel, had benefits. Yes, is the app super addicting? 100%. But that usually falls on the user to set themselves boundaries when it comes to TikTok, myself included. We talked in my last episode last week about how I need to have better self-control when it comes to scrolling and things like that. 100% that's on the user, in my opinion, not so much on the app itself. The apps are made to be addicting. They want you to scroll. It's up to the user to limit themselves on how much they use the app. So anyways, I have a lot of mixed feelings about the whole subject. There are some cases where two things can be true at the same time. But just the whole thing is rather sus, and I'm curious as to what will become of this as time goes on. So we'll see. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what I actually want to talk about today. 9 things that will guarantee you success in your weight loss and health journey. By following these steps, you will reach your goals. Will they be here? Will your goals be here tomorrow? No. These are steps to take along with time and consistency to help you reach your goals. They are very simple steps. I'm going to be totally honest. There's nothing complicated. There's no magical fucking pills or supplements or shakes in these steps. These are 9 realistic steps that you can use to get you to your goals. So let's get into it. Number 1, a realistic workout plan. The reason why I say realistic is because oftentimes people will go from 0 to a fucking 100 when it comes to exercise. They'll go from sitting on the couch to wanting to do 6 days a week of workouts and pushing themselves really hard, and then they'll either get injured or discouraged, and then they fall off and can't keep up with it anymore, and then they'll quit. Realistic. A plan that is going to be too hard is going to be overwhelming. You're going to likely get injured, and you're not going to be able to keep up with it long term. On the flip side, if a plan is too easy, you're not going to be pushing yourself enough to actually see results. It needs to be that Goldilocks happy middle ground so that you're not going to feel discouraged, but you are going to be pushing yourself. You're going to be challenged without hopefully overdoing it and without injuring yourself. You want a plan that's going to be suited to your goals and meet you where you're at, not something that's going to be this ultimate crazy standard that you want to achieve. Build yourself up to that over time. Oftentimes, people who are starting at 0 workouts a week, like they are doing sweet fuck all, going to 6 days a week is going to be way too much. Starting off though with 2 to 3 days a week is a perfect, great way to integrate it into your routine without completely overloading you. Something that you could easily do every other day. You could pick the days that you want to do it, and that you're not going to be killing yourself with this exercise. The workout plan needs to be realistic and suit you to where you're at. If you are a beginner, you're not going to be doing fucking cleans and snatches week 2. No, you're going to be starting off with those very basic exercises. Learning proper form, learning how to even lift and what weights you should use. You're not going to be going balls to the wall crazy. Same thing with like cardio. You're not going to go out and run a 5K when you don't even know how to run or you've never ran in your life. You will hurt yourself. So starting off with a realistic workout plan that's going to push you, but also be realistic for where you're at and where you want to go. Number 2 is a non-restrictive diet. A lot of times when people are starting off their health journey and they're making changes to their nutrition, the first fucking thing that they do is they want to start cutting out certain food groups. Restriction in the long run, unless you have some form of an allergy or intolerance or something like that, restriction in the long run doesn't work. I have never seen it work in the long run. Again, unless you have an allergy or something like that that requires you to actually restrict certain foods or food groups, that would make sense. But in most people's cases where that doesn't apply, it doesn't really make any sense. And it's just going to lead them down the road of frustration and misery. A realistic nutrition plan that's going to allow you to include all foods into your diet will help you not only stick to it longer, enjoy it more, but also actually help you get results because you're going to be able to stick to it longer. There's no need to cut out carbs. There's no need to get rid of bad foods. That only just leads to frustration and essentially failure down the road because you can't stick to that long term. So anything that really has a name to it, I find is not helpful. Keto, carnivore, cabbage soup diet, whatever the fuck, if it has a name like that or requires you to omit certain food groups, you're likely not going to see long-term results. But any kind of a diet that allows all foods in it with a focus on mostly whole, minimally processed foods, with a focus on protein, with a focus on vegetables and fruits and fiber, a really simple meal plan or diet, we'll call it for lack of a better phrase, nutrition plan, is going to help you get further towards your goals versus something that's ultra restrictive. Yes, it might be quicker. Yes, the name diets might sound sexier, but in the end, uber restriction doesn't work long term. Number 3, social support and a community. This is really the underrated thing that not a lot of people talk about because doing things such as losing weight, becoming a fit person it does really require full-on lifestyle changes. Not saying that you're going to change everything about your personality, not saying that at all, but what it will require is you making permanent changes and having a social support and community around those changes is going to be extremely helpful. Whether this is a supportive family member, a spouse, a gym that has a community to it, online community, a trainer, a group that you go running with every week, the more people that you have rooting for you and are positive influences for that change, the more likely you will be able to succeed. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the more people that you have working against you, the naysayers, the people that will make snide comments when you're eating a fucking salad, God forbid, for supper, the people who are going to sabotage you, the more of those people that are in your life, the more likely you are to fail. And I'm not saying that you have to cut everybody out of your life, but what I'm saying is adding positive influences into your life is going to increase your chances of success. So finding a group, finding a trainer or a coach that's going to help you, having a true accountability buddy, not somebody that you have to coach through it, but a true accountability person, like maybe somebody who already goes to the gym and can help you kind of get yourself going as well. Your spouse oftentimes is one of the biggest influencers, your family members. The more people that you can get to help support you in a positive way, not in a shaming way, not in a talk shit about you way, but people who can support you in a positive way, the better your chances are at success. So finding those people who are going to help you in a positive way, lift you up when you feel like you're down, people that you can vent to, people that you can share your frustrations, your successes with, you need that. Really for anything, like even for business, for myself, I found that when I am a part of some form of a community, I had a business coach, I have other trainers that I meet with, and we discuss how our businesses are going and ways that we can help better our coaching for our clients and things like that. When I have those positive influences around me, the better I am as a coach, and in all honesty, the better my business does. When I was struggling on my own, trying to figure it out, I had nobody in my life that knew or understood what I did for a living. And it's not that I had naysayers. Well, there's a few naysayers, but like even my husband, who is amazing and he's supportive, but he doesn't really understand my job and the ins and outs of it versus people in my life that now, other coaches and self-employed people that I know, he just didn't understand in the same way that they did. Back when I was going through that, the worse my business was doing. And then finding these positive influences, people who can help, keep me to my promises, help me come up with ideas, help share my struggles with and my frustrations with, the more positive not only has my experience as a self-employed personal trainer has been, but also the more people I have in my corner and support I feel like I have to be able to reach the goals for my business. So it applies really to any aspect of life. This is also why there are groups for addicts, because it's about building that community and having people to support you along the way. Number 4, setting yourself small goals along the way. Big, audacious goals like wanting to run a marathon or losing 50 to 100 pounds are amazing. Those are amazing goals. They can take a long time to achieve is the only drawback about them. Not even a drawback. The only stipulation about them is that they do take a long time to achieve. And sometimes you feel like you're just in the thick of it, working towards these goals for forever and not getting to that goal. So that's where having small goals along the way can make the journey so much more fun, and it gives you something to work towards. It's just taking that big, audacious, giant goal and breaking it down into those tiny, tiny steps. We've all seen, I think, the meme or cartoon version of there's 2 people trying to reach a rung on the ladder. The first person is reaching this rung that's way, way, way high up. Like they're not able to reach that. And the second person has a ladder with really, really small steps and spaces between the rungs. That's essentially what I want you to do, is taking that big, giant, audacious goal and breaking it down into smaller steps and smaller goalposts to hit along the way. It makes the journey more fun. You feel more successful because you're hitting these little goals along the way, and you can see clearly that you're inching yourself closer to that big goal. So for example, if you have this goal of wanting to run a marathon in, say, a year's time, breaking that down into small goals, what does that look like? Does it look like running your first kilometer? Running your first 5K? improving your mile time? Does it look like being able to run a certain amount of days a week? All of those things can be little goals that you hit along the way. If you have 50 to 100 pounds to lose, that's a huge, audacious goal. Nothing wrong with having a big goal like that. That's life-changing shit. But you got to take that big goal and break it down into small steps. That big goal requires a huge commitment and a lot of permanent life changes. So setting yourself small goals of losing 1 pound, losing 5 pounds, maybe hitting a certain amount of workouts, hitting your first 10 workouts, getting your first push-up, and getting your first body weight deadlift. Like, those big goals can be broken down into these little small goals along the way to help just make the journey so much better. And you will look back and think about all of those amazing things that you have achieved. I do the same thing for my business. And I have this big audacious goal, trying to break it down into as many small steps that I can. I am a list girly. We've talked about that many times. I love crossing shit off my list. Breaking those big things down into small things that I can cross off a list is huge for me, and it helps keep me motivated and keeps me coming back wanting to achieve more. So breaking those big goals down into some small goals will just help keep the journey entertaining, make it satisfying, and continually keep you excited while you're working towards your goals. Number 5, tracking your progress in multiple ways. What I mean by this is, a lot of people say, for example, if they have a weight loss goal, they'll just use the scale as their only measure of progress. Now, it's not that the scale is terrible or bad, or you should never step on the scale. I'm not saying that. But sometimes people get frustrated with the scale because it doesn't change in the way that they think it should. Or they're making progress in all these amazing other areas, but because the scale hasn't changed in the way that they thought it should, they feel like everything is just fucking lost, and what's the point? So I am a huge advocate of make sure that you track your progress in multiple different ways and not just one. With all of my clients, we have a lot of talks about why I am such a big advocate of, yes, using the scale is fine, but also using progress photos, using measurements, tracking your consistency, your relationship with food, your sleep, your energy, your mood, your sex life, your relationship with others. All of those things matter just as much, if not more, than the scale itself. If you're making progress in all of these amazing other areas, you're getting stronger, you're hitting new personal bests with your workouts, your consistency is unreal, you're seeing some changes in your clothes and in your measurements, and there's some changes in your progress photos, but the scale hasn't really budged at all, I don't give a fuck about what that scale says, because you are doing incredible things over here with all these other things that you're doing. Who gives a shit about what the scale says at that point? So I am a huge advocate of that, and I push my clients a lot to talk to me about those things. And I always ask them whenever we do check-ins, like, how's your energy? How's your sleep? Give me a win. I always ask my clients, give me a win. Tell me like something good that happened. I don't care if it's fitness related or not, but just tell me something good that happened. And you're going to see your own confidence and your self-efficacy build in that. And that is where progress really, truly happens. And that's where permanent lifestyle changes really, truly happen. So track multiple measures of progress. Tracking your consistency is a big one, so that you can really, truly see how consistent you've been along the way, and not just focusing on the scale. Number 6, having performance related goals. I already talked about this a little bit. I touched on this, but what I mean by performance related goals is something to keep you excited about your workouts. It could be running a marathon. It could be 10 push-ups. It could be hitting your first pull-up. It could be deadlifting your body weight, or it could just be a certain amount of workouts. Some kind of performance related goal to keep you excited about your workouts and to give you something to work towards. Because otherwise, the workouts get kind of monotonous over time when you don't really have anything to work towards. A common one that a lot of my clients will have is wanting to hit their first pull-up. I love that goal. It's a challenging goal. It does take time, but there's little things that we can do to set those small goals along the way. But when they get their first pull-up, man, I tell you, I've never seen clients so excited about hitting their first pull-up, even more so than when clients hit a weight loss goal. It doesn't even compare to when they're able to do a pull-up or execute 10 perfect form push-ups on their toes on the ground, or deadlift their own body weight, or deadlift their husband's body weight. Like those kinds of goals are the shit that gets people so excited and so proud of themselves. Yes, weight loss goals are fine. Yes, wanting to become healthier is great and all those things. But when you do something that really challenges you, challenges your strength, challenges your dedication, and you achieve that, it's just fucking unreal. It's my favorite thing ever. Like, I remember so many times training clients in person and having them achieve like amazing goals. My first client deadlifting 300 pounds was a female, and I was so fucking unbelievably proud of her. Like, it was amazing seeing her do that. And she was so proud of herself. Like, it mattered so much more to her than the weight loss or anything else that we worked on. That 300-pound deadlift or hitting her first pull-up was another huge one. Like, those kinds of goals stick with you forever. And once you've achieved that, nobody can take that away from you. Like, you did that shit. So for me, having performance related goals, something that gets you excited, something that you've always wanted to do, even if it's a big goal that you never thought you'd be able to achieve, those kinds of goals are incredible. So thinking about something like that, that's going to get you excited. Again, it doesn't have to be, anything crazy like a pull up or deadlifting 300 pounds or anything like that. It could just be hitting a certain amount of workouts in a year. Like, that's my performance related goal for the year. We talked about this on my last episode. Is my performance related goal for the year is to get in 250 workouts in 2025. And for me, that's something that makes me excited. I get to check my little box off every time I do a workout, which satisfies my need to be able to check things off my list. Something as simple as that can be exciting. Number 7, consistency over perfection. I don't know how many times I need to say the word consistency for people to understand that you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be all or nothing. You just need to be fucking consistent. When you focus on being consistent instead of perfection, you're not only going to enjoy your journey more and not struggle as much, but you'll be able to actually stick with it in the long run. Another popular phrase that I tell all of my clients and basically everybody I come in contact with is something is better than nothing. A lot of people think because, I can't do a full workout. I'm sick this week and I can't work out. Or, I had chips yesterday, that they might as well just fucking throw it all away. Something is always better than nothing. You can't do a full workout, but you can do 10 minutes. Amazing. Something is better than nothing. You were sick all week and all you were able to do was a 15-minute walk on Saturday. Something's better than nothing. All you ate yesterday was chips and KFC, but today you started off with a healthy, high-protein breakfast. Something's better than nothing. I love that. Oftentimes we get so stuck in this all or nothing mentality, and I've talked lots about all or nothing mentality, and in all honesty, in my point of view, the all or nothing mentality is just something that we tell ourselves as an excuse not to fucking try. But staying consistent is going to get you so much farther towards your goal than perfection ever did. I would much rather a client be 60% consistent over 6 months than be perfect for 2 weeks at a time, but then not do anything for 3 weeks for 6 months. And they're on that constant 2 week on, 3 weeks off cycle for 6 months. You're not going to get anywhere versus just staying, let's say 60 to 80% consistent for 6 months. You're actually going to get somewhere and get closer to your goals. Number 8, focusing on building habits and not relying on motivation. Motivation is finicky. It feels fucking great to be motivated. I tell you right now, we are like still in the new year high. Even I am riding this motivation, but I know it's going to dip down. It feels great to be motivated, but it's a feeling. A lot of people don't get it. Motivation is a feeling. It's just like anger. It's just like sadness. It's just like frustration. It doesn't stick around. You're not always angry. You're not always happy. You're not always sad. You're not always frustrated. It's a feeling. I feel motivated. But because it's a feeling, it's not going to fucking stick around. You're not in the same mood all the time, just like you're not motivated all the time. And it's unrealistic to feel motivated all the time. But yet people think that motivation is just this thing that's going to fucking fall out of your ass and you're going to suddenly be motivated to work out and exercise and meal prep and blah, 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 blah. Oftentimes when people start out on a fitness journey or towards their weight loss goal, when they start out, their motivation is high. They're excited, they're making changes, they've got ideas and all these things. It's great. And then after about a month, the motivation dips. And then by the time we reach about the 8 to 12 week point, it is at its lowest. And then that's when people quit because they've spent all that time going A, balls to the wall, but then B, they're relying on motivation and they're not actually reinforcing building habits. Habits are built when you're not motivated. Instead of focusing on just relying on motivation and then falling off every single time, focus on building small, sustainable habits so that when you're not motivated, when you're tired, when you don't want to, you have those habits in place. Now, it is harder to build good habits than it is to reinforce negative habits or habits that aren't going to get you towards your goals. But making those new habits as appealing as you possibly can and making them as easy as you can and just focusing on small little things add up to huge changes down the road. If you haven't already, I really strongly encourage you to read Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a great book, and it really focuses on exactly that, making the habits easy, focusing on just small improvements and those little things and little steps that you're going to take. And then really, truly grinding those habits out so that they start to become as natural as how you get dressed in the morning and how you brush your teeth. You don't really think about it. It's a habit. Reinforcing these positive things in your life. And then not only that, practicing them so that when you fall off track, because it happens to everybody, you get back on it. I'll give you an example of a habit that I reinforce because it's helpful and it's not exercise related. I hate making my kids' lunches. I hate it. Fucking hate making my kids' lunches. My oldest is in kindergarten, my youngest, and she's in daycare on days that she's not in kindergarten. My youngest is in daycare. I do have to send some form of a lunch. They provide some snacks, but I do have to send a lunch. It's fine. Anyways, I hate making their lunches. Absolutely fucking hate it. However, though, it has to be done. It has to be done because if I don't make my kids' lunches, they're not going to fucking eat. So I make sure that I do a few things to help make their lunches easier. Number one, I pack them the night before. I pack them the night before because I know that the morning of, I struggle getting out of bed, okay? Getting out of bed is not my forte. It's also not my kids' forte. That is the one thing that they have both inherited from their mother is that they both suck at getting out of bed in the morning like their mom. And I know that the mornings are hard enough that if I also have to make lunches the day of, it makes it just harder on everybody. So a positive self-care thing that I do is I make their lunches the night before. And it makes it easier on everybody. Now I do it no matter what, because I have faltered and not done it thinking, oh, I'll just do it in the morning. Then the morning comes and I remember, oh yeah, this is why I fucking hate making lunches the morning of. Because now I'm behind. The morning is going to turn into a shit show. And I'm also trying to get them to eat their breakfast and get dressed so we can get the fuck out the door so that my kid can get to school on time. And I hate it. So for me, a habit that I have ingrained is making their lunches the night before. When they get home, I have them empty out whatever's left in their lunch kit, or I just make them eat it as a snack. And then I try to rinse out their lunch kits and put them to the side so that by the time they're gone to bed, because I do it after they've gone to bed, I can have everything ready to make their lunches. So that's a habit that I have ingrained because it makes my life easier. Something small. It's not fucking world changing. It's just simply making their lunches the night before instead of the morning of. Something like that. I try as best as I can to keep doing it no matter what. And generally speaking, when I falter and I'm stuck making lunches the morning of, I remember why I hate doing that, and I will make their lunches the night before going forward from there. Number 9, and the last thing in small steps to guarantee you success on your journey is accountability. Now, there's a lot of things in that word that I want to, a lot of meanings, I guess I should say, in that word that I want to discuss. Accountability can mean a lot of different things, and I believe that it does have a lot of different meanings. At the end of the day, holding yourself accountable for your goals is what needs to be done. I am a personal trainer. It is part of my fucking job description to help motivate people and hold them accountable to their goals. Yes. But if that person does not hold themselves accountable to their goals, sweet fuck all will be done. It doesn't matter how much I check in. It doesn't matter the motivational speeches I will tell them. It doesn't matter the articles and the help that I try to do, the scheduling, the trying to help them build positive habits. None of that will fucking matter at the end of the day if they don't hold themselves accountable. If you are not holding yourself accountable to your own goals, doesn't fucking matter who you have in your support system or who you have hired as a coach. You won't hold yourself accountable, and they can't force you to. So yes, having a trainer can be very helpful towards your goals. It's part of my job description to help hold my clients accountable. They, on the other side of that deal, need to also hold themselves accountable and be accountable to themselves and to me. It's not easy. It's not easy to hold yourself accountable to building positive habits. It's not easy to show up to your workouts when you don't want to. It's not easy to meal prep a grocery shop when you would so much rather just sit on the couch and watch Netflix and chill. I get it. Been there. Fucking is a grind. However, though, if you don't hold yourself accountable to your goals, nobody else will. It's up to you. Nobody's going to do your workouts for you. Nobody's going to meal prep for you. Nobody's going to put in the effort. Nobody's going to give a flying fuck about your goals unless you do. So there you have it. The 9 things that you need to remember to guarantee yourself success in not only your weight loss journey, but also just your fitness and health journey altogether. If you found this helpful, I would love and appreciate a 5-star written review. They just help increase views of the podcast so that I can help other people just like you. If you haven't already, I would love it if you made your way over to Instagram and gave me a follow, and send me a message on there if you do follow me and you have been listening to the podcast. I love to hear that. I will post that in the show notes and you can find the link there. If you have questions about my online training options or you are interested in working with me, you can feel free to head over to my website, www.fitlikeagirl.ca. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. I really, truly appreciate it. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your week. We'll chat soon.